Welcome everyone to Berlin, Germany in the LEC Winter Playoffs. While we've been gone, our teams have been hard at work preparing for Fearless, or in the case of Rogue and SK, well, preparing for spring. Today on Ready Check, we'll talk all about Fearless and who is most likely to flourish in this new format. Then we'll take a look at Fnatic and what Upset has been doing well. Spoiler alert, it's not protecting his own KDA. Lastly, we say a heartfelt goodbye to Best of Ones as Week 3 marked the last time we'd see them for the entire year of LEC. I think I speak for all of us here when I say we're completely crushed. Ha! Just kidding. Bring on the best ofs! Welcome everyone to another week of LEC and another edition of Ready Check. Today, to the surprise of no one, we'll be talking about Fearless Draft. So I think before we get into anything, quick reminder of what Fearless is, and before even that, a welcome to my analyst on the desk today, and to this Gnar who is...
He's excited Best of Ones are gone.
He's excited, but you have to stop traumatizing the Gnar, Odo. Leave Gnar alone.
It's fine. He doesn't really get any game time anyway, so he has plenty of time to chill. You know, so
could change in Fearless.
Yeah. I mean, I'm really excited for Fearless. I think it should showcase our pro players much more than the previous Best of Ones have. I think overall, looking at like the Best of 5, Humble Life versus T1, that was such a banger, and I hope that we can see some crazy picks like we saw in that series.
I hope it doesn't take all 5 games. Of course, we are only on best of 3 at this point in the LEC playoffs. We'll transition into best of 5 as we get to top 4. But reminder for anyone who hasn't kept up Fearless, if you pick a champion or if a champion has been picked in any of the previous games in a series, it cannot be picked in the next game. Banned champions don't count for that, but it does just generally mean that if we get a 3-game series, we're going to see 30 unique champions. And with that in mind, we've all kind of put together a little document to track, and we'll try to share this with you guys too, so you can follow along at home. So this one was made by Lore. As you might guess, I'm a last-minute substitution, but I'm not sure what to think. Gentlemen, what are your front runners for champions that you want to see on a personal level? Screw strategy. What on your board is like your personal flair that you're excited for, that you want in Fearless?
Garen for me, easily. everyone is traumatized and everyone is super angry that this champion is not receiving any nerfs. And I think that right now with Fearless, especially if we go into a game 3 with swaps happening, I think he's probably also one of the better chances to survive swap. And I don't know, his ultimate is just kind of OP. So for me, he's my front runner that I want to see today. And seeing that we have G2, GX later, BB is my guy to pick it later on.
I mean, for me, I kind of tried to pick the champions that I felt like were most OP, that people just haven't played. So I don't know if I really like any of these champions because they're all kind of disgusting. But maybe Twitch. I think Twitch is really cool with Axiom Arcanus because it gives him like the 14% damage because ulti doesn't count as AoE. And I've been playing him a lot in solo queue, and he just feels so strong. But
you pick nothing for joy. You're just entirely pro playing your way through it. All I'll say is Lore has the entire board, and again, I stole this from Lore, in role order. We have top laners, junglers, mid laners. I think she's trying to stack it so she can get the fastest bingo possible.
Yeah, me and Odo had it randomized, so...
Yeah,
it's like a pro player debuff.
It's a pro player debuff, yeah.
I mean, maybe this is the only way she's getting any Ws, you know, so that's...
You can't just throw shade at Lore. Lore's not even here.
Best opportunity, so...
Yeah, that's fair. No chance to defend itself. So what do you guys actually care about when it comes to Fearless? Like, you both had your time in pro. It's a best of 3, not a best of 5. Would you be excited to play in Fearless? How much do you think this actually changes for our teams and matchups?
I think it's super exciting because when we would be looking at a normal best of 3, you'd be seeing, you know, the meta adapt throughout the series where, let's say, I don't know, a champion that gets picked in game 2 all of a sudden becomes the first pick in game 3 just based off of the fact that the enemy team doesn't really have proper answers into it. But right now with Fearless, you kind of have a one-shot wonder with any of the champions you pick, you know, so it's realistically, you only get one counter, one OP pick in this sense, and then you're going to be seeing a lot of adaptations for a team where they're forced to dig deep into their champion pools.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think, especially on ADC, where we have seen very little variety, I think it should bring up some more, like maybe Kalista will be permabanned, and then in second game or third game, we actually see some cool ADC picks, like Jinx or Aphelios, or these like more traditional hyper carries that we've seen in some other leagues, which I find much more compelling to watch, where an ADC can really make the difference in team fights rather than just standing on the other screen.
You say Aphelios, you didn't even put him on your bingo card.
No, because
you don't think anyone will actually play him.
I mean, it's like
you want
could
to
just
see
pick
him.
Jinx instead of Aphelios. It's kind of like Easter.
Fair. I was just asking because I'm an Aphelios
I love
fanboy.
Aphelios.
Yeah, I agree. But then you didn't put him on your bingo card, so I don't really understand. Are people going to play him or not?
He's just a fraud, so.
It's about winning. Okay, fair enough. So who thrives? That's like kind of the next big question. We've got a lot of, like, especially in our first matchup with Heretics, we have a lot of rookie players. Is this good for new players? Is it bad for new players? Who do you think benefits the most from us swapping to a format where the deeper your champion pool is, the better it is for you?
I mean, speaking from experience with Machuki on Heretics and Carlson, they were both really open to new picks, and they liked playing new different champions. But the rest of the roster, I'm not so sure. FLICKR to me strikes me as a guy that kind of likes his conventional picks, apart from maybe like the Yasuo and stuff, what he played sometimes. But overall, I think the top-tier teams that were already more comfortable after the BO1s should continue to thrive. And it's like, if you already play the meta champs better than the worst teams, then probably you play the cheese picks better as well, kind of.
And what I would like to say also is that a lot of these struggling teams, even when they have this plethora of champions that they can pick, you know, just when the world is your oyster, they still kind of struggle to find this sort of typology champions. They just fit in a certain archetype that your team comp needs. And now that, looking at Heretics, for example, because it is our first matchup of the day, I feel like they might be one of those teams that they might be struggling just because they might not find the best solutions for the things that their team comp needs, because they have been struggling a little bit and they went kind of all over the place. So it would be a real test to all of these teams, you know, and the top tier teams, as Jack said, they would be doing really good, I think.
Yeah, I think it definitely favors teams who've already had time to figure out where they're going, figure out their strategies. I think when you're a new team, it's always going to be tough. But I think some of the players that stand out to me right off the bat, we'll hit with one that isn't in today's game, but Mirwin, a guy we're going to be watching, has been kind of a two-trick, right? Just K'Sante and Bessa. But obviously last year, he was the weird pick connoisseur, and his champion pool is frankly disgusting. Like, I don't want to see any of this. Well, not any of it, but most of this in my solo queue.
You want to see most of it because it is polarizing. Because last year he was the guy that would always find these funky counter picks, but he was also now it's a test, or like it's a real test for him, especially tomorrow, because he's the guy that finds always the counter picks, but he would find the counter picks to the meta chances. But tomorrow, will he be the one who finds counter picks to all of these, you know, funky champions that can come out first? And I think so, because he's playing Ahri Trinity Force. That's what he did at one point in last year, and it was a little bit mind-boggling, to be honest.
Yeah, I think he's going to thrive really hard, to be honest. Like, when I played with him, he was the type of guy, he would have a champion in ARAM, and then he would think to himself, oh, this champion is OP. Nobody's playing it, I need to play it. And I think that's, like, for example, how he found the Ahri. And in our games, he suddenly was like, Ahri top is super OP with Triforce. Our coach said, don't think that's good at all. And he was like, no, it's good, trust me.
I just think it sets a good standard for the ARAM players out there that can talk to their high elo friends and be like, guys, you don't understand. Heart seal every champ. It's going to be great, I promise. I think the other top laner that it's important to talk about is Broken Blade, right?
Yeah.
I think early on in his career, I got used to seeing more carries, and then kind of on Schalke, he was just playing whatever was reliable. But certainly on G2 was kind of come into his own, branched out. We see a lot more unique, a lot more creative picks. What do you guys have your eyes on there?
I'm a lot more excited about Broken Blade actually more than Merwin, because when we think about G2 last year and what made them really, really good was the fact that when the meta became stale, he was the one to innovate. He brought out the Zac, he brought out the Yasuo. I don't really think he brought out the Dwayne because, it's kind of nasty that's over there, you know. But back to my point, he brought out Yasuo, he brought out the Zac, and when the meta became stale, he thrived the most. And this is what's going to happen in these best of threes. He's kind of the guy who's, I think, going to be revolutionizing the most in this scenario.
I kind of have a different take. I feel like I'd be surprised if he revolutionizes that much, because I feel like G2 have been kind of struggling with support and jungle, and they need Broken Blade and Caps to carry to really win their games. So if I'm Broken Blade right now, I'm thinking to myself, I need to play my best champs, I need to play Pixel Perfect, and I need to carry. Because if I play a pick that like something like a sack or something that I'm not 100% how the matchup goes, and I don't really perform insane,
But
then the rest of the team is not going to carry.
Yeah, but he will perform insane. That's the thing.
I mean, sure.
I mean, it definitely strong individual talent. Caps, of course, I think the other player who's champion pool we can look at on G2. But I think to your point early, right, like the first few games that we saw G2 play in the split, that first week where they did struggle a bit, they were playing these more difficult to execute champions that did kind of leave room for BB and Caps to style, you know, some more melee picks. It didn't work super hot for the team. I don't think we saw the strongest G2 performance overall. So I'm kind of on the side of, yes, I want them to cook, but if they're not confident in their performance, maybe we would just see the return to a control mage mid. Everyone's
like,
favorite.
I feel like G2 could choose to cook, but it's like Koi, they have to cook. They're addicted to it, you know? It's like... So it's like we'll see what G2 decides to do. While with MKoi, I just feel like Mirwin is going to be like, no, I have to play this. There's no other way.
Why does this sound like a Breaking Bad plot synopsis? I think the other thing that's curious about this all, right, is that on the opposite side of G2, we have kind of Lebrov, who's a guy, when you look at his champions, when you look at what he's played, it's not super diverse. I think people probably too quick to jump on to calling him a Rel one trick last year. Although it was,
I don't think they were. You know.
You don't think they were?
No, I mean, I think it was totally legit. I think his best champion is by far the Rel, and he's getting the Rel a lot. He's thriving on these engaged supports. I mean, well, Rel, because that's the most engaged support, and on the Blitzcrank, but I don't really feel like he's been doing that great on his other picks, and I think the Rel merchant statement is totally fair. So that's why when I'm looking at today's series, he's the one that I'm going to be looking out the closest, because now he's going to be forced to play different engaged champions that he's not really been thriving on, maybe a different type of champion with an enchanter and I think it's going to be interesting, and it's going to dispel a lot or confirm the Rel merchant statements.
Yeah, I mean, for me, but I wonder if kind of like it's actually good for him that it's fearless, because it's a best of 3. Then you have to ask yourself, do we want to ban the Rel every single game, or do we give him that one Rel game? Because a lot of time it's like you sacrifice giving that one Rel game just to be like, okay, we don't have to deal with it for the rest of the series. But if you then get your free win off of that one Rel game, then your Rel merchant is pretty happy.
It's kind of worth. I think my concern is as we go deeper in and you look at someone like Mickey, and obviously we can play on the like former teammate drama if we want to. But if you look at the Mickey champion pool, you obviously have a lot more going on. But is this a meta where supports are gonna like do crazy stuff, or are we just gonna see like, all right, Rel's gone, on to Rakan, on to the next one? Because this is the funniest graphic to me, because it's like, wow, his champion pool is so crazy. They're just all supports. There's very few champions on this list other than like Hail of Blades Poppy that aren't just like, yeah, we've seen them all meta as support at some point.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like EU supports recently haven't really gone too crazy. I remember when Keria was innovating with his Halo Blades ADC supports, then a lot of EU supports jumped on that train. But I would like to see some Electrocute abusage, because I think that rune now after the buff is so OP. It's like the Elise support, the LeBlanc support that I've been seeing in other regions. I think a lot of that is because of Electrocute. So I think Mickey has like the mechanical prowess to do it. So if there was someone to do it, I hope it's him.
I also think it plays into his kind of psycho champion pool, given the fact that he's the one who brought up, you know, Halo Blades Poppy, because who does that? Now you're in a meta where with swaps being so prevalent, you need to have this threat on the tower dives, you know? And I think that this plays well into him, because I don't really think he likes to play these enchanters, because I saw Sona at one point in that graphic and I was like, okay, well, what's going on there? That should not be there. So I think he's going to be okay. I think, yeah, with Electrocute getting buffed, especially on this patch, I think he's going to be thriving a little bit more, and he's going to be cooking a little bit more in these, you know, potential lane swap scenarios.
So I want to run 3 picks by you. Shout out to Lore and Molecule, who scrubbed through so much of our pro players solo queue, who found all the accounts. And so I'm just highlighting 3. There's a lot to talk about. I want to talk about Mel as an ADC. Mel bot lane has been getting played a ton by our players. Diana jungle, not as popular, but Jack brought it up on cast one time, so I'm going to sneak it in there for him. And the last one is Pantheon as a flex pick. We have seen multiple teams play Pantheon support in solo queue, jungle, and top lane. When it comes to those champions, are those something we might see here? How much of that is overcooking? How much of it is realistic?
I think Diana is legit. I think Mel is legit. Pantheon, I'm not so sure. Maybe in a game 3, but Mel right now, given the fact that I think she's probably going to be first pick or ban going into today's series and tomorrow and the whole weekend, the fact that you can flex it also into ADC, it gives a lot of power to blue side or even potentially red side, because you get to flex to last pick. And at the same time, Diana, junglers have always been broken, and right now with the build that is, I think, Liandry and Riftmaker, you're just so tanky and so annoying. And right now, there's not, I think, a lot of options in the AP department, given how deep you go into Fearless with Zyra maybe, getting taken out, I think she's going to be one of these champions that thrives.
Will AD carries finally play Mage's bot lane? You've been complaining.
Mel is so broken. It's so disturbing. Like the Q is like point and click nearly, the W reflecting absolutely everything. I played against Noah on Mel bot, and it was just like, what's happening? I don't understand. It's insane.
Look, before we talk about Mel, one last quick hit. Twitter has been abuzz with hype for Fearless Draft, and if you haven't been there, or X, excuse me. Sorry, Papa Elon. We can take a look at at some of the sentiment here. Some of the like, I don't know where Grabs got this picture. I don't know what movie this is a reference to, but that's pretty traumatic. But clearly some teams are ready to cook, right? A lot of Fnatic, a lot of Memento Shonen, 4G2. Are you guys just excited before we talk about Mel? Before we show people how the pros are feeling about Mel?
I'm very excited. I think more variety and champion picks is so needed. It's been so boring seeing the same thing over and over again. And I think with this, it's going to be so much better and so many more champions being played. And just opens up so many more possibilities.
Hit me with the Cove, guys. I mean, even though it's Fearless, I feel like we might still run in the same scenario where you still get the same champions played, but just in a little bit more, at least you get diverser matchups. Yeah. You don't get the same matchup over and over, but I think definitely Fearless will be a win today.
Fearless, big win. Maybe it won't be T1 Hanwha levels of crazy. We'll have to wait to find out.
Support,
we need the BO5s.
We need the BO5s to find out. Mel's certainly powerful, and she's the new champion entering the Rift for playoffs. So let's check out what our pros think about the newest member of our champion collection.
The foolish need not approach.
I think this champ is very broken.
It's a bit OP.
Yeah, it's like 5 different champs in one. Too strong for a champion.
I think it's something that is going to take some time to actually balance.
I mean, it's a mid laner, so I don't mind if she's a little bit strong.
I protect my own.
I mean, it was definitely fun to hear about that Mel was going to be a champ. I thought, like, oh, what was our kid going to be like as well?
I think the champs they are making are kind of broken, so maybe relax there a bit. But other than that, I'm kind of happy because it's new.
I didn't watch Arcane Season 2.
It's funny because a lot of people, they play League and then they see Arcane and it's cool. But some people now, they are watching Arcane and...
So her passive is all her abilities put like stacks on the opponents, and once they're below a certain threshold, they just get executed, like Smolder when he gets enough stacks. She has like a Kalista passive in a way.
It's also good that you know on top of your head that you're gonna die from the ultimate after.
A little bit too strong, I think, but...
So for the Q, it's like a lot of small bolts that just do a lot of damage. Quite long range as well, so it can be useful.
Kind of normal amount of damage, but it's a very short cooldown, very long range. I mean, it's a skill shot. That means at least there's some skill to it. W, yeah.
I cannot be undone.
Yeah, the W is the most OP spell in the game, I think.
She basically shields herself and is invulnerable for all damage, and any skill shot or projectile gets reflected to the enemy who casted it. Yeah, it's very broken.
She's an immobile mage, so the fact that if they have like some CC or something, you can just like say no to it, and it makes you a lot harder to gank. And I'm gonna look forward to all the weird interactions that's gonna come up with it.
Windwall and Braum Shield can counter most spells, but not everything. But I'm pretty sure Mel W can counter like almost everything in the game.
I think they need to nerf the direction, because you hit the spell 100% to the enemy.
Like if you're playing Jhin against her, you can't really 4-shot her, or you're getting headshotted. I would just say it's funny. Her E, I think, is like the Anivia Q, but then it roots. I guess it's kind of like Nico as well, Nico E. It's kind of like a Lux Q, just more wide.
I think it does a lot of damage as well, and it's really good controlling areas.
You can combo it with the Q as well to hit all of it. It roots in the middle, and around it slows. Yeah, very strong. This champ has a lot of strong abilities, I have to say. Her ult, the more marks I have, the more damage it does.
At one point, on top of his head, the mark is bigger when you can kill with the ultimate.
Regardless of where they are, kind of like Karthus ult.
It does like a surprising amount of damage. Like you can really get caught off guard.
Yeah, they explode.
I think Mel is 100% going to be picked in competitive, because I think her kit, as it is right now, if not mid lane because of numbers, then support might be played, you know?
For solo queue, I'm sure that a lot of people play it because people just love playing Enchanters, rather be like the Seraphine and stuff like that. So for solo queue, I assume a lot of people play it.
I think she's mostly mid. I have Mirwin in my team, so it's probably going to be played on top as well, because he likes to play all this
Yeah, honestly, I think she can be played in both AD carry and support as well. I wouldn't say top because her W against Ruizer top laners is a bit useless.
I think 100% she can be played in top lane. I think if you're not careful with the tank, you might just get executed like level 2-3, you know? Because she can kind of perma hit you. It's a ranged champion, so it can be very obnoxious to play against her.
I think we are not gonna see it because she's probably gonna be banned.
My countermeasures are ready, even if you are not.
With new champs, it tends to be that either they get perma-banned, and so we don't really see them at all. Maybe it will be different because of Fearless draft. Maybe people will like try it out for a game and see here and there, but I'm hoping we can get to see her a bit.
I would say Mel gets countered from champs that can all in here. For example, maybe Irelia, maybe Yon.
When you are getting ganked, be careful using the W ground because maybe you are going into the enemy team.
That build is for sure OP as well. I feel like every champ these days have projectiles that she can block, so for now I can't find a counter, no.
If you like mages, you're probably gonna like Mel as well.
Just farm early game because her first levels on mid lane are actually not too strong. So once you reach level 9, you are very OP. So play safe early game. I guess be patient with the W. I think W can turn around a lot of situations. So as long as you're patient with it, I think it can win you the game alone.
Get comfortable with the champion right now. Played many games. Don't go first time into ranked because maybe it doesn't look the best.
Make sure to pick Mel now to get some free yellow because it's very unbalanced.
And we'll have to see if our pros can follow their own advice and lock in Mel to get some of that free elo as we see Team Heretics arriving.
How did he do that hard? It was crazy.
That was crazy. They're throwing hands. At least the first few players are. There's some crazy stuff going on, and I gotta say, the Fnatic side, a little bit more tame. We got some peace signs, got
boring,
some rock
you know?
hands.
Yeah, it's
All
not
right,
that hype.
League of Legends is the name of the game, but the hands, they need a little bit of work. Nobody's Naruto out here casting some jutsu.
Good one.
Except
good
for
one.
FLICKR. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Guys, I would love to tell you that this is going to be a close back and forth series, but it seems like everybody agrees that this is incredibly Fnatic favored. So tell me why.
I love Fnatic because I have been on the Fnatic hype train for a while now. I think they're probably the only team in the league that have consistently changed the style to which they play. They draft a lot of, range champions, engage, whatever they want, every single game. But I feel like they show a deep understanding on the win conditions and how to force the enemy to play according to their own win conditions. They don't fall into this trap of, just not really knowing what to draft and kind of just like walking around the map and not doing really anything. They're just so crisp and decisive, and they're really quick.
Yeah, for me, it's been simple. Razork, Mickey look like the best jungle support in EU. Upset is playing the game rather than for KDA, and he's showing really high mechanics while doing it. So
he's just
I think they're looking so good.
Hey,
I think it's important to note that the copy pasta has changed. If you are tweeting the Upset KDA copy pasta, that is last year's copy pasta. You need to update your copy pasta. It's a fair call. And Jack, I mean, you took a look at one of Upset's maybe more not as noticed highlight moments. Do you want to run us through it?
Yeah, I'll run you guys through it here.
He's doing good.
And
he's doing it.
Everybody tweet at Jack. This is the first time he's had to do this.
Don't forget the password.
Yeah, you got it, bro.
So I want to talk about Upset and how he uses ADC to actually kind of engage a team fight, which is very rare that you can do as an ADC. And hopefully we'll be able to actually play the start of this fight. Yeah, so here we have it. So I want you to pay attention to Upset here, who is kind of looking for a cheese onto Irrelevant. And now it's very rare that an ADC is actually able to start a fight like this, but Fnatic is in a bit of a precarious position as they're heavily outranged by the BDS poke composition in Jace, Varus, and Nidalee. So Upset looks for this cheese onto Irrelevant, and he finds him alongside Mickey, and you can see he actually dashes backwards, which allows Irrelevant not to dash onto him, which then makes Irrelevant dash back, which sets up this beautiful engage from Mickey, which gives Fnatic exactly what they needed. Now that the fight has finally started, Fnatic is very comfortable, and Upset also beautifully dodges out on Ice's ultimate here. You can see it just barely doesn't reach him, and he also dodges out on the Braum ultimate, which just creates a really, really good fight for Atakan, for Fnatic. And then Upset uses the Rend alongside Razork's Smite here to outsmite 113 on the Nidalee, which essentially spells doom for BDS. a really, really good highlight of ADC aggression and how you can create space and pressure as an ADC to actually start a fight. And Upset's been looking really good, so I'm excited to see how FLICKR will do. And earlier, Draco sat down with FLICKR at the Merit Bomboy checkpoint for our pre-game check-in.
Thank you so much, Jack Spectra, for that incredible breakdown on Upset and his fight around Otacon. I'm joined here now by FLICKR, who'll be facing Upset today. No surprises about that one. But talk to me a little bit about this 2v2. You guys versus Mickey Upset. Feeling good? You gonna smash them? How's the outlook?
I mean, I don't want to like anticipate anything, because no, I'm saying maybe there's a swap. So there's like maybe we don't get to see like a lot of 2v2s. But I mean, I think it's like, I would say it's like one of the strongest bot lanes, if not the strongest one, I would say right now. So yeah, I'm definitely really happy and really looking forward to face them.
Would you be happy to face Oscar as well, or do you want the 2v2 or do you want the swap?
It depends, you know. It depends on draft. But I'm pretty sure I'll be happy to face Oscar, and I'm pretty sure you wouldn't be happy to face 1v2. So we'll see.
All right, you'll take what you can get. Fearless, obviously kind of the big talking point for this entire weekend and all the playoffs. How do you feel about it? You're one of the few teams that has so many rookies heading into Fearless. What's the mindset for the team? Do you think it's good for some of the guys on your team that they might get to show more of these unique picks, or do you think it's a lot of pressure knowing that they won't be able to play the same champs kind of back to back?
I mean, as well as like best of 3, right? So I mean, max we get to play like 3 games, but I still think though I mentioned like a lot of times before that I don't think it's gonna affect much, but actually playing this week of scrims, it affected quite a lot. But yeah, I don't think the guys have like any pressure. I think like I mean, I was gonna talk about Sten like as a rookie, but I don't think there's like a lot of changes on support champs, and I think you can always pick something. But talking about Camilo and Carson, I do think they have like good like champion pools, and I'm not sure if we're gonna see like a lot of spicy picks today, but I mean, I think they're gonna be completely fine. I don't think there's any pressure. I think if there's anything, there's like a lot of excitement, because especially Camilo, he likes to go for like sometimes this, I mean, maybe weird or like sometimes different picks, but maybe we have something, maybe not. It depends on what they do as well.
I hope we get to see some spice from the new guys, but you yourself, you've changed roles, right? You used to be the young blood yourself. Now you're kind of that veteran. Do we get some of that spice? You were the Seraphine guy. You've played so much weird stuff in your career. Do you get to branch out and try new stuff today, or is it kind of, do you need to be like a rock for the team?
No, I mean, every time I see the angle of cooking, I always try to cook, of course. But I mean, we will see today, because I mean, at least for the first game, it's gonna be like pretty standard League of Legends, I would say. And then after all the meta things are removed, maybe we cook, maybe we don't. But for sure, like the mindset today, I think it's more, it's just like focusing on like what we have been working, you know. Like of course it's Fearless, it's like new drafts, but we didn't invest like that much time on like drafting, and we are focusing more on like what we actually want to show and play our game basically. Because I mean, some days we play better, some days we play worse, but for sure we still need to get way better. And of course it's Fearless, and it's like really exciting and really hype. But today, like the main focus of the team is just trying to show what we are doing this week of scrims. And of course, I mean, we want to have fun. It's going to be a challenge, but it's about, you know, learning as well.
Yeah, and we'll just have to see. I hope for your sake and the team's sake that this is one of the days where you guys play good. Good luck in the series today. I hope it's one of those games where you play incredibly. Now, speaking of incredible, let me send it over to an incredibly handsome man who will have, I'm sure, a very charming rebuttal. Me, take it away. Damn, thank me. I'm welcome.
That was
looking
smooth.
pretty good too. Yeah, you like that narcissism, folks? That's what it looks like. I don't know why they let me do that. Probably because a lot of people are sick. Anyway, we're about to head into the series. I think it is a tough task for Team Heretics. What do you think is the most important thing that our audience needs to keep their eyes on as we go into the series?
even though he said that he doesn't really care about draft so much, I do care. I think if Team Heretics manages to get some standard picks and as well let Camilo play some of his funny champions, his Molder look great. At the same time, they need to do that plus empower FLICKR as much as they can, because for me, he's their star right now.
Yeah, for me, it's all about FLICKR. Need to shut down Upset and let FLICKR try to take over the game. He's, for me, been the only player that's consistently looked great. So if they can do that, they have a win con.
I think it's going to be a tall task regardless, but a lot of pressure on FLICKR, pressure on the draft as well. I think to the surprise of no one, given that there are no more best of ones. The stakes are higher, the pressure is on. Folks, it's time for Fearless. Let's kick off the 2025 LEC Winter Split Playoffs with Fnatic versus Team Heretics.
And now we're done with best of ones for the year. Ladies and gentlemen, Fearless coming to a theater near you.
Fearless draft will create more creativity in the team. I feel like we thrive in that creativity.
So goes in. Whoa! Oh, the flash! Duck flash away. Now Caps has him in his way. Charm at max range. The kiss of death from Caps.
Our team has a lot of win conditions, so we don't necessarily need to focus on one specific thing, which will give us a lot of flexibility for the Fearless draft.
I'm also preparing pocket picks, but I didn't have the opportunity to play it, but I'm sure I will have the opportunity in Fearless draft.
I have the mindset for Fearless draft as well, so I think I'm ready.
I feel like he's famous for like 10 different off-meta picks.
They can't see him, so he gets the fear. Instantly jumping in. The follow-up is right there. It's a clean wombo combo, and everybody is going pop.
Oh, maybe it was top actually. We didn't talk about oh my god, it is.
Not a lot that Merwin can do on this one. Some clean sidesteps. Oh! He dodges!
We are known for playing many champs, so I think it's just gonna be great for us.
G2 in front of Artican, that's shredding their health bar. It's getting destroyed. And this is why you don't team fight while you're trying to butcher Artican.
This year there is more competition. Overall, just the league has got stronger.
The last 2 years, for example, it was just G2 and like sometimes Fnatic were doing something and like sometimes Koi a bit. We kind of want to change that now and make sure that we have multiple good teams.
They just end up going that little bit too deep for him. Flashes away, doesn't get the... Yeah, that was so well played by Kalist.
That's crazy, bro. And you actually killed him? I checked his money. I clicked on his face, yes. We are working hard and I think we are working on the right things, so I think we will win. Everyone wants to take G2 down. I think that trophy belongs to us, to G2, to me, and I will not let any other team take it.
Big win here as Kalist is going to get spiked up and Caps goes in. Oh! Welcome to the LEC. It's clap style. G2 falling to the ground. They're all on upset. You'd say even better for G2, but Fnatic are still too far ahead, beating their nemesis at G2.
I think I'm going to be able to express myself even more in the game.
True Shot Barrage nails everyone. Upset at Mickey right now. The best bot lane in the league.
Noah, the battle, the autos, the Q still connecting from Carzzy. Noah, Carzzy manages to make the play happen.
To be honest, I couldn't really care less about expectations. Like, I think we will just do our thing, play our game, and we will win.
What a hard-fought game from Heretics, as they will knock SK out of playoffs. Kalist is level 6, he has the Whirling Death and doesn't even need to use it, comes out late, maybe execute. The Draven got money.
We ended second place, I think, in regular, so I'm happy with that. I think we could have played better, and we're going to make sure to play even better in playoffs to make sure that we can win the split.